What's new in Washington this week? First up, jobs wanted. President Obama has been trying to balance candor about the struggling economy with confidence that the situation will eventually improve. And despite plenty of bad news this past week, he leaned more heavily toward the side of optimism.
Each action we take and each policy we pursue is driven by a larger vision of America's future.
President Obama faced his first test as commander-in-chief, and his use of military force against Somali pirates is being widely praised, though this story is not over. This modern-day military stand lends historic resonance to our nation's early run-ins with the Barbary pirates. Here's our chief White House correspondent, Ken Walsh, with a little history lesson.
The episode brings up some larger historical points. Success in handling a crisis, even a relatively small one, can lift a president's reputation. Thomas Jefferson in 1801 ordered U.S. warships to the Mediterranean to stop the Barbary pirates. A century later, Theodore Roosevelt sent the Navy to threaten a Moroccan known as the last of the Barbary pirates after he took hostages.
From danger on the high seas to the war on drugs, President Obama flew to Mexico City to throw some high-profile support behind Mexican President Felipe Calderón and his campaign against drug cartels. It was part of a sweep through Latin America with the message that plans for getting the U.S. economy back on track should help lift all boats in the hemisphere. Ahead of the trip, the Obama administration said it would lift restrictions on Cuban Americans who want to travel to the island. Cybersecurity is also on the president's radar. The administration is wrapping up a 60-day review to decide who should be formally in charge of protecting the government against online attacks. The White House is eager to centralize and consolidate disparate efforts under a cybersecurity czar. And finally, Dick Cheney has given up his undisclosed location for life in the real world. So how's the former Veep spending his time? Our Washington Whispers editor Paul Bedard has the scoop.
I talked with his daughter Mary, who filled me in on how her dad's getting on. See, I'd heard he'd been driving around Northern Virginia stopping in places like the upscale Balducci supermarket for subs and whatnot. She set me straight. Yeah, he shops there, but prefers more heart-healthy sushi.
Paul also has that story of the first pooch and a demand from PETA. So download our new U.S. News Weekly at usnews.com/subscribe and see you next week.